Facebook.
Hello.
This is the mess that they have in the background going on. Oh, yeah. Hey, Facebook. Thanks for joining us today, you guys. We're so glad you're there. Monk, I'll let you monitor me to make sure it's running on your end. I'll get it up and going here in a second. How are you guys doing this week? Say hi to my friend Heather Anderson. We are in my old stomping grounds, which is, we're not live on the Empowerment channel yet, but we're live on Facebook. So I just go live on Lead Up for Women Facebook, and then it'll be a little behind, but I just want to make sure we're live. And then Empowerment channel, they will hear us in a second. Can you hear me, Monk? Because I think
Yep.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure you're there. I just want to make sure I didn't lose you. You know how I am with technical stuff. Oh, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to exit out.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Mallory, I didn't really get the sound check with you. Go ahead and come back from 5 for me.
Sure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, perfect.
Okay.
All right, well, if everybody's ready, I'm going to get you started.
Let's do it. Okay, you guys, so we're filming live from the Little Gym International today. You're going to hear a lot about it in a few minutes, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Here it goes.
Welcome to Lead Up for Women. Speak Up to Lead Up with Colleen Biggs. Are you ready to lead without permission
really
and
warm
take the
in
steps
here.
needed to live your best life? Whether you want to start the business of your dreams or celebrate your present and future accomplishments.
Are you guys ready to do this?
In the right place. Now, here is your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hey there, listeners, and welcome to the show this week. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon which time zone you're in. I wanted to welcome you to the show, which is Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up, and I'm your host, Colleen Biggs. And today, I'm joined by two beautiful women. First one's Heather Anderson, who is with me on Facebook Live. Heather, say hi to the guests.
Hi, everybody.
And then we also have Malory Atkinson on the phone. Mallory, are you there?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Hey, Mallory, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Great. So in just a few minutes, Mallory, I'll introduce you to our guests, and then we will interview you first. So just hang on just for one quick second while I just get caught up with everybody on what's happening with Lead Up for Women. So let's see. Thank you so much, Mallory. Our next event is going to be held on October 10th in Denver. And we just added another really exciting guest. She is the franchise matchmaker, and she has coaching available for anyone who's looking to get into a franchise. And what she does is she matches you up with the exact franchise that's going to work for your personality, what you're looking as a lifestyle. And she does all of this free of charge to make sure that you have the right franchise for you. And coming from franchising, I am totally in love with how she has her business, how she runs her business. And her name is Carrie Ann Gulliver. And she's going to be joining us at our panel October 10th. And she's going to be on the radio next week, so you guys can hear more about her and her offers. So if any of you out there are thinking about owning a franchise, she's going to be your girl to connect with. I also am going to have a special co-host in the studio next week, Mr. Lorenzo Hickey. You guys have seen him before. I work with him with Shapeshift World. He helps me with social media, and he helps me with our website and so many other wonderful pieces, and he predominantly works with women. So super excited to have him as my co-host. We're also going to have Teresa Snyder. She was the next Impact finalist. I still don't know where she ended up, so I'd love to know if she won or if she got second place or third place. I'm super excited to talk with her. And then we have Kate Scudder. And Kate Scudder is a multi-six-figure coach and life coach. And there's so much that she does. And I'm super excited to have her on the show as well. So you guys have to make sure you tune in next week. And if you're listening right now on the Empowerment channel, don't forget, you can slide on over to Facebook Live, because all of our friends out there today are watching us live, and then you get to see the pretty room I'm in. I'm not in a studio today, so I'm housed at the Little Gym International, and we're going to talk a lot about that when we talk with Heather in a few minutes. But I wanted to get started with Mallory and welcome her to the show. Hey, Mallory. You're welcome. Hey, so what I'm like most intrigued about you is when we were on the phone, you were talking to me about Shear Structural, which is the company that you co-founded, and it's the only women-owned engineering firm in Georgia.
Correct.
Is that correct? Which I think is super impressive.
Thank you.
So I saw the photo of the office, and there's so much that you have is in your background and so much that you've been able to do. Why don't we start out by just telling the listeners a little bit about you and your past and your story and how you came to get an MBA at Georgia State and co-found Shear Structural.
Sure, yeah, of course. So I'm a native Georgian, so I've lived here my whole life, and just I love being in the South and being a part of this amazing culture that we have down here. And went to Georgia Tech and got a more technical degree in construction. And so when I was starting my career out and working in the construction field, you know, you just start to kind of notice when you are one of the few, right? It starts to become more apparent when you're like, man, there's a lot of people that look like me in leadership roles. There's a lot of people that look like me that are doing exciting things in the industry. But of course, as a young professional, and then the recession hit, and you know, kind of all craziness, all hell broke loose. And so I was working in an engineering firm and hit, you know, as I think many of us do, a ceiling, and decided to go back to school and get my MBA at the state, as you mentioned, and just really kind of rethink about how the business of engineering works. Because again, I saw a little bit of a hole, of a lack of a hole, because in our industry, and when I say my industry, I mean architects, engineers, and contractors. In our industry, most people who own firms are technical professionals, so they have a designation after their name. They're a licensed engineer, they're a licensed architect, and there wasn't anybody like me in a leadership role that was non-technical, that was more focused on the business. And so I got my MBA, I left the industry, went to go work in a tech startup, got this kind of crazy bug about working in technology and saw all the amazing things that are happening in the startup scene, and decided to take that knowledge and come back into this industry and see what I could do to really help reshape how people think about running a business as an engineering company, how people think about women in leadership roles, and how people think about diversity. So that's how we got found Shear Structural, which, as you mentioned, is the only all-women structural engineering firm in the state of Georgia, one of the few in the country.
Yeah.
And we started, 2 years ago in August, so August of 2017. We started with 3 people. We're now up to 9 full-time with 4 additional part-time, and we hit that 1 million revenue mark within our first year, which I know less than 5% of women-owned businesses hit ever. So it's very exciting for us, and it's been a really fun ride.
So you're trailblazing the way for women. We appreciate that. Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah. So I know you chair a women's leadership initiative, because when we spoke on the phone, you were very passionate about women and the growth, and you're very aware of statistics. So tell me why you are on the chair of that association and that initiative. What is your hope?
Yeah, sure.
Doing.
Yeah, so my hope again is to kind of show people that if I can do it, you can do it. I think, again, when I was coming up in my career, when you start looking at people in leadership roles that you are like, I want to do that, I want to do that. And when all those people are men, and typically white men, and typically old white men, you're kind of like, where do I fit in? You know, I do have to wait 50 years to get here, you know, like, what do I have to do? And so, I mean, to me, in all honesty, it's just trying to change literally the perspective, the view of what leadership in our industry looks like.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, I'm really into statistics, but like there's just statistics that came out this week about, again, in my industry, 90% of firm leadership are white and 83% are male. And like when you look at the statistics of how many people are working at these firms, they just don't match up. And so it's just the thing that we're constantly fighting, that there's just this perception that, the male comes up and goes into a leadership role and women don't. And so I want to kind of help show that a female-run firm can be very successful.
I appreciate you sharing that because I know that's true, and I'm reading a book right now from Melinda Gates, and it's The Power of LFT, I believe it is. And her empowerment for women comes from her travels to Uganda and India, a lot of countries where there's some severe poverty. And so her empowerment with women, she sees it from a completely different perspective than probably, I think, Mallory, even you and I and Heather see it, because we're in America. So we see the women empowerment really from a leadership role within owning your own business as a woman, the opportunities that exist for that, the doors that open in corporate America where the glass ceiling sits. But she sees women empowerment from a family state because of women's rights with their families and their lack of contraceptives and being able to choose as a woman whether you want to have children or not, and then the burdens of taking care of them, and women that don't want to have children because they're so poor they can't take care of them or have any hope for their future. So I look at women empowerment so different now from a wider lens, I want to say, because in America we have so many more opportunities that are available to women. Mallory, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, we sort of have that foundation.
Yeah.
Right? We've hit that foundation, and now let's go from there.
Right. So we have the foundation that's built. What do you think, just in your opinion, for you building your business and being on this chair, because you're having leadership initiatives that you're working on so that you can help other women along, what do you feel is one of the most important things a female can do to be able to take that next step in that role? Because I really get, the whole reason why Lead Up for Women exists is because we're stronger in a community, and it's really just about helping one woman at a time tap into her greatest strengths and powers so she can leave her mark on the world and not be afraid to negotiate a salary or be afraid to start the business that she wants to start, and know that she has the strength to do that and be a mother if she's a mother, and be a sister or an aunt or a leader in her school or community. And women struggle with all those identities and needing to leave one behind, or maybe feel like they're not giving one 100%. So what do you feel is something of, go ahead, Mallory.
Well, I was just going to say exactly what you said is part of me sharing Women's Leadership Initiative is to help foster that sense of local community.
Yeah.
Because I do think that women have some incredible stories, and we don't always feel like we have a voice. We don't always feel like we should share, but in a safe place, when you're talking with other women, it's amazing when you just start talking about an issue and you realize how many other people have also had this issue, and you hope that one person has had a successful, they've been able to get around this issue, or they've been able to, negotiate a better salary at work or negotiate more flexibility. It's just that, so a way for women to have these conversations is, a part of it, and that's part of what we do at Women's Leadership Initiative, is just kind of help women communicate with each other, and women that are, in different places in their careers, women that are in different roles at their companies, and it's just such a great way. I think that's the one benefit. Well, there's many benefits to being a woman, but another benefit is just we're good sharers of each other. Yeah. And so, but sometimes we don't always feel like we can, or there's many women, they might be the only female in their company that does that role, and it can be very lonely. And especially if you have somebody above you who doesn't even understand what you're going through, and who just doesn't get your perspective. So having that community, a sense of community, is really, I think, empowering and can help women really at any level.
Yeah, I agree. So Mallory, have you always felt that confidence being a woman in your roles, or did you gain that over time? Is there something, a hurdle you had to go through to get to this point, or were you raised that way? Did you have a mother that was in corporate America or an entrepreneur?
No, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she always had like side projects, and she was always doing part-time work. And but I think both of my parents were extremely supportive, and my dad is an entrepreneur, so I think that's partly where I got that from. But I never felt growing up like I had ever had a ceiling, and so to me, I was always the kind of person who was captain of my lacrosse team and doing all this stuff. And then when I got into the professional world and I finally hit a ceiling about 8 years into my career, it was shocking to me and like a lesson. And I was like, wait, what? You're not going to do this for me? Because what? And so that, I kind of had to take a step back and reevaluate. And I took a big one look at the industry, and that's when I hadn't even never considered that there would be a ceiling, right? I mean, you're just like, no, that'll never happen to me. And you hit it, and you're just like, this is what people are talking about. And I started looking at my role, started looking at what other firms' leadership looked like, and I was confronted with just the kind of glaring, ugly truth that, like, there were not a lot of people like me. And so if I wanted to be in that role, which is what I wanted to do, then I would have to do it myself, and I'd have to do it with my own company. It would be very difficult for me to find a company that would let me do it from the inside. And so that's part of the reason why Shear Structural was founded, is because have to do it yourself. And I would probably say that many women feel the same way. They're just like, all right, I guess I gotta do it myself.
Yeah. I don't know if you've thought of this, but it just came to my mind. I feel that girls and engineering is a big topic today, either in the news or I've read it in Forbes magazine. I've also seen it, with toys that they're trying to create for girls. And I talked with someone the other day in my community. She's a teacher, and in her engineering course that she runs in the high school, it's a charter school, and she runs a very specific technology and engineering type class. She has 2 girls out of all of the entire class, and they always, when they get together, the girls are always in the back and they don't feel included. And I'm wondering if you've ever thought of putting together a group for women, like a support group for women just in the engineering realm, for like a committee or a leadership group for women that can be part of that, to feel like they can utilize your strength and where you've blazed to already, Mallory, to be able to feel like they're supported in that trek to be an engineer, because the numbers are very low.
Yeah, there's actually a group that I just learned about yesterday. That's exactly what they're doing, and they're just launching a Georgia chapter.
Nice.
And so I'm definitely interested, and I already I met with a person who was part of that committee, and I was like, please send it to me and let me know, because I do think that's such an important part. Again, that's part of that community, specifically in engineering. And as a company, we do a lot in STEM education in elementary schools and middle schools and high schools, just to talk about what we do, because again, it's like we want people to see that, hey, we might not look like the typical engineer that you're used to seeing, but this is what engineering looks like, and this is what leadership in engineering looks like. And we do a lot, obviously, at the collegiate level as well. But you really have to, capture kids and get them excited. I mean, engineering is fun. I mean, so many kids play with Legos, and they're so used to building, and they get that, and it's like, how do you sort of, capitalize on that? And we, again, as a company, try to do a lot of things just to get kids really excited about engineering. Because if they get excited about it, they'll be inspired, they'll continue to think about it, and they'll use that as, a tool in their careers.
Well, Mallory, we're going to run to a 2-minute break, and when we get back, I'd love to learn a little bit more about that committee, and then how anyone that wants to get in contact with you can. So stay there. We'll be back in 2 minutes. All right.
Good job. Oh,
Thanks, Monk. I wish you could be in the studio because Monk is like so cool. All the listeners. Okay, so you guys, we're at the Little Gym International today. Mallory, we're on break for 2 minutes, but we're still going to talk to you a little bit. And if you haven't already, go out to Lead Up for Women, Mallory, to our Facebook page. Like it, and then that way you can go to the live video feed right now, and then you'll be able to put your contact information for Shear Structural engineering firm, and any other, if there's committee information or whatever else you want to put out there, put it in the comment section so that everyone can click on it and have access to it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, awesome. So so Facebook fans, I can't see on Facebook today. We all know that I'm technically challenged, so I can't see who's on live or if anyone's watching at all. I didn't even put a little note out there today that we were going live, so no big deal because we usually get most of our viewers after the fact anyway. But I wanted to let all of you know that we've got Mallory on the phone, as you heard, and I heard the audio is a little low, so Mallory, speak as loud as you can. I've got my speakers all the way up on my end because we're not doing a direct feed today through my phone. We're just Facebook Living it from a remote location. But this is my old stomping ground. So I worked at the Little Gym International for 17 years, and Heather, who's with us, who we're going to talk to in a minute, was just promoted not too long ago to VP here at the Little Gym International, and she's the only female VP here at the company, and which is very exciting. And she has a daughter, right?
Yeah.
So she is an example for her daughter. So we're going to be talking to her a little bit, and that's why I really felt the two of you matched up well for an interview, was because the Little Gym is 4 months to 12 years of age, and really, teaching children to be their best. So, and I love in engineering, most girls don't think they can be engineers. So I love the subjects that we're talking about today. They're great.
All right, we'll be coming back in about 15 seconds.
Okay, thanks, Monk. These are the nicest people. If anyone out there is wanting to do a podcast, what's great about Voice America is they take care of all the audio for you. They take care of the show for you. They get everything posted for you. They're so awesome. So I recommend going to Voice America. Plus they're global. They have like
To reach the show
3 million
please
listeners.
call 1-888-346-9141. That's
You guys hear that now?
1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to
They can.
info@leadupforwomen.com.
But they're not going to be able to
Now,
today. And
back to this week's show.
maybe. Monk might tell me. Hey there, listeners. Welcome back to Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. I'm your host, Colleen Biggs. And we were just talking with Malory Atkinson with Shear Structural, and she was telling us her story and sharing a little bit about a committee that she knows that just launched for women in the engineering sector, because we do know that there isn't a large female presence in the engineering, and there's a huge push right now going on for that to not be the case moving forward. And I really just feel that whatever you desire, whether you're a little boy or a little girl, you should just pursue whatever career that is that you desire, that lights you up, right? It really shouldn't be gender based. And I think it's great that you, it's great that you had to co-find this business. Unfortunately, it's not great, Mallory, that you couldn't find the position you were looking for within that corporate America structure, and you went to start your own business, but you've been extremely successful. So congratulations in that area for sure. So Mallory, did you want to talk to us a little bit about, do you feel comfortable sharing the committee that you heard is around for women?
Sure.
That are, okay.
Yeah, I just heard about it yesterday, so I don't know that much about it.
Okay.
It's called the SC3 project.
Okay.
And it's around engineering engagement and equity. So I think, for them, they're trying to kind of feel out where they need. It's a brand new organization, and they're just trying to kind of feel out exactly what they need to be focused on. But just what you were saying, and trying to get specifically women in engineering.
Yeah.
There's also groups like the Society for Women in Engineering. That's a wonderful a well-run organization that's been around for a long time. They handle kind of all aspects of women in engineering, from like computer engineering to civil to mechanical. And they, Society for Women Engineers, also have amazing statistics. So that's where they're the ones that run a lot of the research about how many women start in engineering, leave engineering, why they leave engineering, and so it's a good organization as well.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I've asked Mallory to put some information in the comment section on our live video today on Facebook, and and then she mentioned a lot about those today. Now, if someone wanted to get a hold of you, Mallory, to learn more about what you do, or even just reach out to you to be able to work with your company, how would they reach you?
Sure. Definitely check us out online. All of our contact information and social media is there, and that is Shear, SHEAR, structural.com. That's probably the best place to find all that information, and I think I just put the comment on there. So it should
Perfect.
Be place to find them.
So for those of you that might not have heard on Facebook, that was Shear Structural, SHEAR.com. And you can go out and reach anyone in Mallory's office through there. And Mallory, before we end our interview with you, first of all, I'd love to say thank you so much for all the volunteer work you do, all the committees that you're on, the food banks, the women leadership. Thank you for giving back and being such a wonderful example to everyone, not just females, but to everyone. If there's advice that you would give to a female out there today that maybe was in your situation years ago before you founded Shear Structural, what would you want to give her for advice?
Some of when people ask me about what kind of advice you would give to anybody who's trying to start a business or trying to really take on a new role, my advice is to tell the universe. So I think there's something really powerful in kind of getting it out of yourself and thinking like, I want to do this. Like just saying it out loud, telling your partner, telling somebody at work, telling your friends. And it's really amazing when you start to have these conversations of like, I want to start a business. And then someone's like, that's so interesting. Tell me more about that. Maybe I know somebody that can help you. Maybe I have a connection that can help jumpstart you. Yeah. And so I think sometimes as women, we kind of keep these things bottled up and don't tend to externalize the things that we want. And it's incredible to me when you just literally tell the universe how much this will give back to you. And so that would be my advice.
I love that. That supports everything Lead Up for Women is, Mallory. So thank you so much for that. When you say it out loud, you commit. And that's scared. Some people are scared. I was literally talking to my brother-in-law last night, and he said, I want, and I was like, you will. And he's like, I will, and followed it up by saying what it is he will. And he was like, no, I can't say. And I was like, so because you're not ready to commit or what? Because the minute you say it out loud, we're all listening. And it's the truth. I think once you feel lighter once you get it off your chest. And then when you say it out loud, then it becomes a focus. Other people hear you. And I love what you said, Mallory. That is absolutely great advice. Thank you so much again, Mallory. You are just such an awesome lady. I've really enjoyed getting to know you over the past several months. And thank you again for being on today and for your example.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're awesome. Thanks, Mallory. All right, Facebook friends and the Empowerment Channel, we are here with Heather Anderson. And I don't even have to show her picture today to anybody because she's sitting here next to me. So if any of you are curious as to who's with me today, all you have to do is run over to Facebook, or you can always go out to our leadupforwomen.com page, which you guys should all go out there anyway and get our newsletter, because how else are you going to know when we're having all these great events and all the luncheons coming up? We're down to 2 this year. Kind of sad. I need to get my schedule together for next year. Business planning. Are you guys in business planning?
Oh, yeah.
Every company in the entire world I know right now is in business planning. So Heather, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
How long have we worked together?
Well, I've been here almost 12 years, so.
12 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone knows I used to work at the Village of International. I left a few months ago to pursue Lead Up for Women, which has been up and launched since January. It's just been a great, wonderful adventure for me. And right after I departed from the Little Gym International, Heather was the director of marketing, right? And then Heather was promoted to VP of operations.
Yes.
Are you still over marketing
Yes.
as well?
Yeah. So I've taken on operations in addition to marketing, which is really where I've spent the bulk of my career. So this is a whole new frontier.
So you have no life because you're very busy. Something like
I
that.
didn't have one before, but
Right,
yes.
yeah. So why don't you tell our listeners, they've heard about the Little Gym, but I want to focus on you today as a female, as a mother to her awesome, she's a wife to her awesome husband, Ryan, who I know as well. But tell us a little bit about your story. So what did you want to be when you grew up? And did you think this would be where you ended up? Where did you go to college? What's Heather's life look like so
Sure.
people can get to know you?
So, well, originally when I grew up, I wanted to be Barbara Walters. So once I got past that dream,
awesome.
Really, I think a lot of my enthusiasm for my career came from my dad. He was a creative director on Madison Avenue. He worked with a ton of big brands, and so I grew up really kind of surrounded by storyboards in our house and visiting commercial sets. And so when I grew up, I wanted to be my dad. I wanted to go into advertising, and I thought it was such an exciting world. And I have rarely met, I still today really haven't met anybody that's ever been as passionate about their career as my father has been. It really, he just like exudes passion for the advertising industry and for everything he's done, and is so proud of it. And so I went to college really wanting to follow in his footsteps, and I did for a short time. I, right out of college, went to work for an advertising agency, more in the digital space. I started, unfortunately, in business development, which we quickly found that cold calls are not my thing, especially being really young, starting out and calling up older people that are established in their
So
careers.
I feel like Mallory said,
Yeah.
the older white male.
I was trying not to say that, but yeah.
No, you can say anything you want on this
22,
show.
fresh out
Yeah.
of school, trying to convince, 45, 50-year-old men that they should be using our services.
And they're like, okay, yeah, call me back some other
Yeah,
time. Or, yeah.
a little bit of a shocking experience. And so I also started my career right at the beginning of the recession, which, I would highly recommend for anybody out there that's looking to really start their career. Starting the recession is a really great time. So I know a lot of other people face those challenges. So I was a part of those initial layoffs really early on, when a lot of businesses, small businesses, were struggling. And so that was tough for me and a bit of a wake-up call. But it really challenged me to sit and think about what is it that I want to do? Do I really want to be in this advertising space? And what I had found while I was there was that I would get so invested in working in one brand and the passion I had for that brand, and I wanted to stay in that world, and it was hard for me to bounce around and get to know all these different businesses, and feel that same level of passion for all of them. And so as a part of the business development process, the Little Gym was one of the whales that we were trying to capture at the time. Yeah. And so that's really how I got to know the Little Gym. And as I started doing research when I was, sitting at home, unemployed.
Unemployed because you got laid off. Yeah. Contemplating your life.
Yeah.
What you want to do.
Exactly.
Sure.
Saw that they had an opening here at the Little Gym, and so it was really just perfect timing. And
so did you graduate then from college with a marketing degree?
Yes.
And then when you stepped into that space, you were doing business development instead of managing the brand, maybe for the companies. Yeah, is that right? I mean, I don't know a lot about marketing,
which was still a little bit on the marketing side of it, just a different perspective on it. But I think I really knew at that point that I was much more interested in kind of the consumer marketing angle. Yeah. And so I started at the Little Gym International as a marketing coordinator. So I really have kind of held every role within the marketing realm.
You have.
Yeah.
Because you worked for Paul, right?
Yeah, Paul Dickinson hired me, who was a fantastic mentor. So I think I've been really lucky throughout my career to have really wonderful mentors as well, with each of my supervisors, and have really tried to learn as much as possible from them. and soak up as much as I could from each person that I've encountered.
I love that you say that, because I think it's important for everyone to remember some of my most favorite mentors and sponsors throughout my career have been males, and we need more of them, because everyone's playing in the playground together, and we all bring something different to the table, and we just have different strengths, each one of us, each person, but then female to male, and we bring something different to the table. And I love it when males recognize that, and they're not threatened by that, but they embrace it and then help the females along. And it's unfortunate that we live in a world where it's not the females that are helping the males along, but we are fortunate to be able to live in the United States with the freedoms that we do have, and how far we've been able to come as women regardless. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, Heather, because were you planning on getting married and having a family, and was that always your goal?
Oh, absolutely. Right? Yeah.
So were you attracted to the Little Gym then because it's 4 months to 12 years of age of an enrichment program that they offer? Was it more of the position?
Yeah, I guess it was a combination. I really was excited by the position. I was excited by the company, just getting a chance to initially get to know everybody and everything I read. And I think I did sense that there was this deeper purpose, this deeper sense of community and giving back, not just to the local community, but really globally to the world. And so I felt really passionate early on about the cause and the mission and everything that we do, both to help children and to help franchise owners as well. So there was a lot there that was really easy to love from day one.
Yeah. So the Little Gym International, and the brand itself, do you want to explain a little bit to our listeners what's the Little Gym?
Sure, yeah. So the Little Gym is all physical enrichment programs, and we start as early as 4 months of age. We go up to age 12, really helping children to develop the confidence and the skills that they need at each stage of childhood. And we have a really amazing curriculum, really amazing program. But what's great about it is we call our program Serious Fun. It's kind of this playful juxtaposition that the kids are learning real serious skills when they're coming, things that are going to benefit them in the classroom, on the playground, really wherever they go in life. But they just see it as fun. They're just excited to come hang out with their favorite instructors, hang out with their friends, go on these different imaginative adventures. So it really, I think, we're just trying to bring magic to their lives each time they come into class for that 1 hour a week, and then they go back out and are really able to take all these traits with them and all these skills that they've learned.
Yeah, so they're life skills.
Yeah.
So building that confidence, having that body awareness. Like I said, I worked here for a long time, so I'm familiar with the brand. It's absolutely one of my most favorite things. I had the fortune to be able to work with the individual franchisees in building their companies and launching them, which was my passion. And that was about them bringing the Little Gym to every state, every city. And for that couple or that family to own their own business and be able to give back to the community and really feel good about a business that they were running, that they were giving back, that was providing their family, as well as enriching their family and their children and the community around them, which really is who we attract, right? So the Little Gym attracts those types of individuals that want to give back and be part of the community.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Good people.
Good people. Yeah, the Little Gym is full of good people.
It is.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to run a break, because we've got to take another 2-minute break. And then when we get back, I want to talk more to Heather about her role and how she sees her role here at the Little Gym, how that works into her personal life with being a mother, and advice that she has for other girls out there and for women out there that want to be able to hold this type of position in a large corporate company. Sure. So we'll be right back with Heather in just 2 minutes. You guys stay with us.
Okay, cool. Great job. All clear.
Hey, thanks, Monk. All right, Facebook. Can we tell who's on there yet? Because I still can't see.
Let me see. I can pull it.
Anyway, for everyone that's on, I want to say hi. I'm not going to say you by name, but it doesn't matter anyway, so don't worry about it. We'll put all the information for how you're going to be able to get in touch with the Little Gym. We're going to talk about that soon when we get back, so we don't want our empowerment friends over at Voice America to not be able to hear that. Because I was just telling Heather this morning, when I was here, I was like, I think I have like 40 listeners in Russia now. 40. We're in like, I think I told you guys that it's insane. We're in like 9 or 10 countries, and it on my heart is so full of gratitude because we get to reach so many people, and it's women and men. The demographics are both. I mean, we're about 80% women, 85% women. And I want to give a shout out to San Francisco. Shout out to San Francisco because they're my highest live listeners that we have on the radio. So thanks for listening in, San Francisco. And by the way, because you guys are our live listeners, and you guys are out there listening live every single week, and then you're also listening on demand, we're going to make sure that we visit you and put you on our calendar next year so we can get together, and we have a whole new program coming for luncheons where we're going to be able to go out into the community and give back, so I'm really excited. So stay tuned, and if you're listening in San Francisco, make sure you go out to the website, Lead Up for Women, so you guys can get the newsletter and find out what we're doing next. So I want to make sure you guys are aware of that, and you go out there. So how are you feeling, Heather?
Feel good.
You're feeling good?
Yeah.
All right, good. Just making sure. Heather was like really excited for this earlier, so we had to make sure we got all set up in here. Isn't this a pretty cool setup, Facebook? Like, it's pretty cool. I do too. It's my favorite, and I think you guys know. I don't know if I've said it lately, but they're doing some expansion internally here, and asked me if I would assist with the expansion and the design of the internal walls and some things that are happening. So it's a little crazy here this week.
It is.
But things are moving along, and I can't wait to see what we look like by the end of Friday. So it's going to be beautiful. Gives them so much more space for meeting, cohesiveness for some of the teams here. I'm really excited about. It's good that you're growing.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's so great that you're growing. Are we coming back, my friend?
We are coming back, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Monk. He's so awesome.
You are listening to Lead Up for Women. Speak up to lead up. To reach the show today, please call 1-888-346-9141. That's
we have, like, padded walls,
1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to info@leadupforwomen.com. Now, back to this week's show.
I just thought we lost it there for a minute. Oh, they just sped it up. Hey there, listeners. We're back. I don't know what just happened there on that commercial, but we are back, and you are listening to Lead Up for Women. Speak Up to Lead Up. I'm your host, Colleen Biggs, and I am here with Heather Anderson from the Little Gym International.
Hi.
And you guys have been listening to her story about marketing, and she did not like cold calling, and that was not her thing, and now she manages the brand for the Little Gym International and has been here for 12 years. So I'm going to put you on the spot. She's just staring at me going, oh my God. And I just want to ask you, I know, I'm just going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part of being the VP operations for the Little Gym International? What's your favorite, like, what resonates with you or makes your heart just sing, or what is it?
Okay, so there's two. So one is internal, so it's the people.
Yeah.
I think it's really important that you are excited to get out of bed every day and come to work, and the people I work with are really, I think, the driving reason that I'm super excited to come into the office and see all of our best friends. And I think everybody is so passionate and so aligned with what we want to do and what we believe this business can be and how we want to give back to communities and to our franchise owners. And so it's really cool to work with such a wonderful group of people. And I think the other thing that kind of drives me is, or does drive me, is being able to work with the franchise owner. So it's people on both aspects, really, and being able to help them and see their success and see the rewards of all of the hard work of everybody here, and how that has an impact on their lives, everything that they're doing.
So I know the Little Gym talks a lot about belief in being a family. And that extends all the way down the line to the employees that work for the franchisees, the families, the kids that come into the gyms. Talk a little bit about that, how you guys are a family.
Oh, absolutely.
Top all the way down.
It's it's funny because I think if you're coming in from the outside, it might sound a little bit trite sometimes, and I know a lot of companies say we are a family, but I've never felt it more than I felt it here at this company, and I think everybody, you know, really cares for each other, and families are not always functional, and so certainly I think we are able to but we respect each other, and so I think
hard conversations are good conversations.
Exactly, and everybody is again kind of marching in the same direction and has the same end goals, and so I think everybody really respects each other from that perspective. But you also get to know each other's families. Like, I know your family really well, I know everybody's family really well, and their children, and they just become a part of this larger organization, and because we are a kid-focused business, it's great that I could bring my family in for different elements. I mean, my child has been free labor in a lot of our advertising shoots, and so I've kind of immortalized her in marketing materials, along with many other people's children here as well.
That's right. She joined us in the construction when this office was being built, and we've been on dates with her. Yes, my husband knows her very well. As well. So talk a little bit about your daughter and your husband and what you and Ryan really want for her. Talk a little bit about.
Yeah, I think we want her to feel loved and to know. I think we want to instill the confidence that she can be or do anything she wants. And I think one of the things I love about my husband and that I've really seen shine through in him is he is so passionate about wanting to expose her to as many experiences as possible, and that whatever she shows the slightest inkling in, he wants to go full steam ahead to be able to help that dream come true and to help her
no
have
matter
those
what
experiences.
it is.
No matter what it is.
Right.
He wants her to feel excitement and feel passion, and whatever her thoughts or dreams or hopes may be. And keep in mind, our child is 3, so you know, she right now her hopes and thoughts and dreams are like, I want to hug a bear, but he wants to do whatever he can to make that happen. And I think we've talked a lot about how that will continue through as she grows up and as our family grows, how we want to continue to make sure whatever passions or experiences that they want to have, that we're able to help them to achieve that.
And how have you seen the little gym affect her life? From like a physical standpoint, you know, from her attending. Yeah,
I think it really, I have been able to see the confidence that it's instilled in her physical abilities, certainly. And it's funny because we go to the playground or we go on play dates, and she's a little daredevil, which she 100% gets from my husband. And I often almost have to apologize to the other parents because I feel like she's almost setting a bad example, but I know she can do the things that she wants to do. I have full confidence that if she wants to jump off, you know, that ledge, I know she can land on her 2 feet and she's going to be fine, and then other children try to follow suit. It's not a great situation, so I sometimes need to pull her back a little bit just in front of others of, I'm sorry, my child's not being a great role model for your child. Right? but I know she can do it.
It's a good way to sell the little gym and say, but if your child actually attended the little gym,
she too can land on her 2 feet as well.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing about the little gym that is just deep-seated in me was all of us have to take risks. We all are going to have to take risks at some point. So that risk is either going to be on the playground, we're going to have successes and failures, and how those are looked at and how those motivate you to move forward. That if you're a failure and then you regress backwards versus that failure is seen as strength and growth and a course correction, and then you use that as fuel to launch you forward, is the difference of how children are exposed to things when they're young. And same with engineering, because if she wanted to go into engineering, obviously Mallory's a great example of that, and it sounds like you and Ryan would support her in that. And that's the one thing about the little gym that I love the most is they're going to have to take those risks. And do you want them to do that when they're young, when they can understand it and you can explain it to them, or do you want them to have those failures because they've never been able to really feel it because you've kept them from taking those risks, and then now they have to feel it when they're older and not something that they grew up with?
Yeah, I think ultimately that's what's going to build confidence. Confidence isn't built by just succeeding. I think that sets a false sense of self. The confidence is built by failing over and over and over again. That's what makes you want to be better.
Yeah.
Getting fired was a great experience for me. That's what made me want to be better and want to excel and want to work my tail feathers off.
Right.
in order to be successful, because I had that fear of not wanting to be sitting at home looking for another job.
I love that you said tail feathers, because I forgot to mention that Heather's a cat lover.
A critter lover.
Just a critter lover. And she loves images of critters and anything else that has to do with critters. You have how many cats?
We have two.
Two cats, yeah.
Yeah, I have a poster on my wall of a pirate giraffe riding a shark saying onward, so it's my motivational take on signage.
That's awesome. And they're like, and she's ahead of the brand for your company. I'm not really sure where those two things come together. No, but it's imagination, which I think is wonderful. So, all of our listeners out there, I want them to understand that this is global. So you're in how many countries? Go ahead and give whatever stats you've got.
Sure. So we are in, I think, 33 countries now, 430 locations-ish worldwide.
Okay.
So about half of those are domestic here in the U.S.
Wonderful.
and then the rest spread out throughout the globe.
Yeah. So pretty much anywhere you're listening from, there's probably a little gym in your area.
Yeah.
So how would our listeners get in touch with the little gym, and what is offered for them when they reach out to the little gym? I know some of them have offers.
Yeah, a lot of locations offer some kind of trial class so that you can go in and try the program. But really the best place to start is to go to the website, thelittlegym.com, and you can find your nearest location. And there's a list of all the global locations there as well, or you can search by your postal code and see kind of which one is closest to your home.
Great. So you guys got that, thelittlegym.com. Is there a phone number? Probably not.
Per location. Yeah. So yeah, I would say
location.
start with the website so you can find your nearest gym, and then from
put in
there,
your zip code, and your country.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then from there it'll take you to what's your closest gym and what's their address, phone number, all their good contact information.
Yeah. And we're at the corporate office, so we're here in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is where the corporate office is for the little gym, but they also have another one in Europe, that they have a corporate office out there in Europe, and there's several others in other countries. China, they have how many now?
Oh, over 100, I think.
Way is over 100, yeah.
So, yeah.
So he's fantastic. It's just what I love about the product, and is that children, they're able to speak the same language, and they need the same nurturing. They need all of the same confidence building tactics that the little gym uses for them to be successful in their life. So I say give them the best start you possibly can, and they do not need to be walking, because they are so much that they're learning at 4 months of age, and just the tummy time and their body awareness and spatial awareness.
Yeah, and it's so much for the little ones. It's also so much for mom. It's so important early in that stage, especially for first-time mothers, to have that community and that network and that opportunity to get out of the house and meet with other parents that are going through the same things and experiencing the same excitement, the same challenges, and so it really does become such an important part of that community feel.
It does, yeah, you're right. So, last question.
Yeah.
What advice would you give for any woman that's sitting in corporate America? Maybe she has this aspirations to grow at the corporate ladder, because that's where you are. You're in corporate America. What would you give her for advice for maybe she needs to step into that CEO's office, or really wants to do something more? What would you give her for advice?
I would say set big goals. I think you will never grow if you don't force yourself to step outside your comfort zone. And so I think for me,
get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. I think for me, I've never felt that comfortable feeling, because I've always believed that there's more that I can learn, there's more that I can do, especially in the marketing space. Coming from that angle, it's changing so fast every day, so you can never know enough, and you can never know everything.
Right.
But I think continuing to push yourself to set those really big, scary goals, kind of back to what Mallory said of putting it out in the universe. If you don't force yourself to be a little uncomfortable, then you're never gonna change. It's just be status quo.
Yeah, so if you're comfortable, you're not stretching far enough.
Yeah.
So just take that first step and get it out in the universe, and then, like Heather said, set the goal and write it down, and then really just follow up with that, and just be confident with yourself. The statistics show that 85% of men will apply for a position that they're not qualified for. Women will not apply for a position if they're not at least 85 to 90% qualified. But men can be 15% qualified, and they'll still go after the position. So it just goes to show that women, we have got to believe in ourselves and stop limiting ourselves between our own two ears and believe that anything's possible, because at the Little Gym International, that's what you're teaching for these children. That's what you're teaching Harper, which we didn't even say her name, but that is her name, and she is absolutely adorable. And if you want to check out Heather, I'm sure you can find her on LinkedIn, Heather Anderson. She's out there on LinkedIn and on Facebook. You guys can go find her, and we'll put the information in the comment section out there as well about how you can find a local little gym near you.
Awesome.
Heather, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Fun.
It was.
It's nice to be back in my own stomping ground with my business, to be able to interview the powerful women that exist here.
Well, we miss your face around here, so it's been nice to have you this
It's been
week.
really nice. I'm like at home all the time just by myself, so this is really great to be able to be with my old friends and to be around. It's been awesome. So just one last comment for all of you. Don't forget, next week on Wednesday, October 2nd, we have Teresa Snyder, Carrie Ann Golliver, and Kate Scudder, and my co-host Lorenzo Hickey. But I want all of you women out there to remember, and gentlemen that are listening, you are the only you that has ever been, and you are the only you that will ever be. What does that mean? You have the power to write your story moving forward. Pick up the pen, say it to the universe, write down your goals, and take the first step. And until then, have a great week, and we'll talk with you guys next week. It was awesome having you join us today. Take care, you guys. Bye.
All right, good job today off there.
Thanks, Monk. I'll see you next Wednesday.
All right, thanks. Have a great week.
Bye.